Let's see. What's your YouTube link? So if I go to YouTube and I'm like, share my channel, your channel. Alright. Like that, share that, copy link. Okay, let's see this. Paste. Your channel. What did somebody just say? Alright. So now, let's clean this up. Somebody just left a rude comment. Alright. For the record, our naming conventions fine. Hey May, good morning. So I want to put in my chat. Okay, so here on Blue Sky, I guess copy link to post. Okay. And put this. Hey, if you are on Blue Sky, if you'll share this, this will be the announcement. Okay. So that'll take you to my account on Blue Sky where I announce that I'm live this morning. Again, we hit 500 followers, 500 subscribers, so that's good. We'll have access to things now we didn't have access to yesterday. So YouTube Studio. Ooh. I started organizing my YouTube channel, and I started getting rude comments from white people. So we're back. You know where they give you unrequested feedback that doesn't actually impact your show on the whole. Like he said in my live yesterday that I was quiet for 6 minutes. Okay, okay. Like, but I do want to start out by saying thank you. Um, We hit 500 subscribers. My YouTube channel has never been more popular. I can tell you that. I have like 60 hours of watch time on my channel in the last 28 days. That's a lot of content. 60 hours. I like I said, I started creating folders and cleaning this up. Yeah, we hit. I mean, we did hit 500 on the first day. So I'm going through right now, make sure I interact. Oh, I wanted to give people perspective, right? It's always good to have a perspective of someone who's going through it. I like to talk about the numbers because I feel like if I can relay what it's like to be in my position to you, it makes you realize why people don't do shit like this, for the record. Uh, in the last 1 hour, after one post on TikTok and one post on Blue Sky, I had 25 comments. I just woke up. You know what I mean? Like in 1 hour today, one post on TikTok, one post on Blue Sky. I have 25 comments. It's a you have to discard immediately anything that doesn't aid you in your mission, right? So for the record, what does not aid you in your mission is when some old white man posts, please clean this up. Having to wait for over 6 minutes for content is too long. We like your podcast, but please try to edit out the dark. That was our first show yesterday where we were trying to figure it all out. So it's just like, man, thanks for the feedback, I guess. But hey, Marlena, good morning. Hi, welcome. Have a couple people in here. So my first post today was talking about how we got banned yesterday on TikTok for one day. And I'd kind of been bragging all the prior times I got banned on TikTok because I have an agent. I'm part of an agency. I'm in that TikTok creator program. So my live just kept coming back. So I hadn't really worried about it. And you know how it is when somebody that's like a MAGA comes into your chat and you fucking address them and they report your live before you can block them. Well, there's your problem, right? So yesterday, I don't even remember what the guy said, but I knew he was gonna report my live, and we got banned for bullying, and we didn't bully him, but it was only a 1 day ban. So my agent was just like, my appeal process isn't faster than that. So you'll have your account back to be able to go live on TikTok tomorrow at like 10:30, and it was like, oh, okay. So I didn't even know you could only get a 1 day ban. So and we needed to transition to YouTube. It's a much more open platform. People like their TikTok, and that's great. But again, you could be in the middle of a live show and just zap. Um, Wisconsin prosecutors just filed 10 felony charges against two Republican attorneys and a Trump aide connected to the state's fake electors case. Huh. And obviously, a big topic of the day is going to be the FBI director saying he's going to step down ahead of the Trump presidency. He very well could be unburdening himself and preparing for the Hague trials that are ahead. Just thinking about out loud. So let's see. What can we share with everyone? Want to do that? Can I share a message? Yes. Yes, Marlena. Yes, I watched Hakeem Jeffries' whole speech. Um, then yeah, FBI Ray said about his resignation. Yo, I gotta read this to you. I just got a direct message. Okay, it's complete hogwash. Yeah, that makes absolute sense. Serve out the rest of the administration. Yeah, I mean he'd basically been doing it for a long time. But listen at this nonsense. Okay, I'm gonna read this to you, word for word. By the way, we're not gonna do this very often. Okay, it's just the oddest shit I've ever heard. And I quote: "From my discovering happiness in your life, you see you're meant to be happy. You have positive things surrounding you, but this blockage is not allowing anything good to come through. It's created a dome of obstacles. You know your heart aren't the way you want it to be. You need some help because there's something holding you back from your life. I feel that a woman has put darkness around your future, love life, money, and peace of mind. I see that a lot of people are jealous of you, whether you're aware of this or not." And then four ellipses. So you know she's crazy because she used four ellipses. Okay. And that's an instant block. I know that if you're listening to that right now, you're like, what in the Sam hell did that person just say? I don't know. I don't know. I ain't figured it out. Okay, so I'm not the only one. You did hear what I just read, Marlena. Okay. I read it word for word. That was fucking batshit, right? Like some of that shit didn't even make sense. But I mean, like I said, we're not gonna do it very often. Where we read the unhinged PMs I get, okay. But I do think that one, fucking wow. And I just want to point out, uh, I've often wondered why older people specifically. Hey Miranda, thank you for being here. Welcome. So this is Justice's waiting room, except on YouTube. So we need to transition to YouTube because YouTube isn't going to have a problem with my live show, right? I don't think so. We're going to do TikTok as long as we can do TikTok, but we caught a 24-hour ban. Yeah, exactly. Got to be quick to ban. Yeah, you got to have a real short leash. It's just it's actually part of deprogramming. So I want to make sure we talk about this pretty often. You might want to drink some water. You might want to go for a little walk. Okay. Um, I think that part of what we've been going through the last month and some change is part of deprogramming the cult members, um, and the MAGA cult members. And I actually think a lot of what's been going on particularly in the United States, is meant to deprogram. Uh, it's pretty safe to say that a percentage of the population. I'm guessing for the record that it's under 20%. One of the things that you'll frequently catch me doing is spitting out data points and basing how I feel on that. Okay? So for example, a social media firm did a deep dive, right? They can't be deprogrammed fast enough. Fucking correct. Hold on. A social media firm did a deep dive on Donald Trump and Elon Musk's social media followings and found that 90% of their following was bots. So understand that when you look at this election and you think about record early voting, record mail in voting, record voter turnout, and I tell you that 90% of Elon and Donald Trump's followings are fake. And I'm telling you, friends, I waited almost 2 hours to early vote here in Indianapolis, Indiana with my wife. And we were not the first people in line. So we stood there for a long time and I got to look at a whole bunch of people. And you know what? It was mostly fucking women. People of color, working people. And I think that's a lot more representative of our democracy, the people that vote. And so when we look at this election, understand that it is razor close. And I'm going to keep saying it. Donald Trump may have like won the presidency, and look at his little MAGA co-conspirators that ran for public office. They won. And then look at all the other races. For example, Donald Trump, uh, and the GOP got absolutely road mapped in all of the swing states, and I think Democrats swept like 5 of 7, with the exception of Arizona and Pennsylvania, I think. And Hakeem Jeffries said yesterday, outside money to the tune of $100 million to unseat Bob Casey. Um, and again, I'll always, and I know that I'm all over the place. I have PTSD and bipolar, and I'm unmedicated, so I'm fucking all over the place. Um, so I want to make sure we start with like 90% of their social media following was fake, right? You're ahead of everyone by 5 hours. Oh, sure. So for you, it's 8, it's about 9 a.m. here. For you, it's like 2 in the afternoon, huh? So, in addition to that, right now as we sit with 77 million votes, that's about only about a quarter of the population, actually a little less. And people would have you believe that one out of every four Americans is MAGA, and I actually think it's a lot lower. So I've been saying since the beginning, I think Kamala Harris won this shit going away. I don't think it was close. I think that he got all of the help that he could possibly get from outside forces, whether that and that's primarily Russia, but it's also Russia, China, uh, North Korea, Iran, all basically all the things that the current administration is fighting against, Donald Trump's allies with their opposition. Uh, so I think that I don't know how to fix it. I'm not a programmer, but I'm in school to be a data analyst, and part of that is learning programming. And within a day, within 24 hours of the election coming out, data came out that just showed rampant fucking cheating. Yeah, so Marlena, one of the things that it's really hard to do is to separate your anecdotal experience for the overall experience and also understand that a lot of people have not read the book on tyranny and haven't never read the first page of on tyranny is about authoritarianism, and it says do not obey in advance. And so if you never read that book and you didn't know what authoritarianism is, you don't understand what fascism is, and you don't understand who Donald Trump fucking is, then I'm guessing you aren't going to have much of a problem bending the fucking knee. Hey, DeMarcus. Morning. Hey, Miranda. Yeah, my entire family's MAGA too. That's why I'm here with you, right? But yeah, just be careful uh, with thinking like your anecdotal experience is equal to the overarching experience. You can get in trouble that way. I often get in trouble that way, where I think people think like me. It's not. It's just not true. Watching from Las Vegas. Okay, everybody's doing good, man. Yeah, absolutely is uphill fight. But yeah, if you would, if y'all are on Blue Sky, yeah, copy link to post. If y'all are on Blue Sky, if you could like and share, obviously follow my profile. I don't know what I did over here. But this way she's not having to fight them. Well, so understand that, obviously Executive Order 13848's been there the whole time since 2018. So if I'd have known that for the last 6 years, I'd have been saying that from moment fucking one. But part of why I think my account grew so fast is because of my disbelief that these three-letter agencies that had clearly been monitoring Donald Trump for some period of time weren't going to try to do something about his administration, knowing that he's been talking about destroying these places, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. What was the question, Demarcus? Also, I'm so supposed to go to Blue Skies, which is a breath of fresh air. Yeah, it's very nice. A lot more interaction, and I haven't had any problems. But I did never have any problems. One of the things you got to realize is these maggots are paper mache. Okay, so first of all, I usually put USMC in my bio, and so people don't typically pick fights with people they're not gonna beat. And also, I'm not afraid to tell someone like, "Let's do this." Stream here and TikTok. So my TikTok was, I have over 6,000 followers on TikTok. Like 50,000 comments have been up since October 21st. So we're crushing on TikTok, but we keep catching bans. And they've been kind of saying stream live on YouTube. So we're live on YouTube, and we will be live. Like our second session today will be uh, live on uh, both YouTube and TikTok. But I would never stream on Kick. Twitch, mm, it's Amazon. I get it. People acquiesce to that. I have streamed on Twitch. I've tried to stream on Twitch. Oh, so TikTok has the money to fight that. And also, what's to keep Disney for buying it for $100 billion? Why can't Mark Cuban? Why don't Mark Cuban just buy it? Everybody always forgets Rumble. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, so I would ever only stream on well-known platforms, YouTube and TikTok. And like I said, YouTube ain't going anywhere. I've been on YouTube for over a decade. Fortunately, I have a decade worth of work on YouTube that I'm just now getting around to sorting. For the record, so I started putting folders together today and sorting all my work into folders, so that when you go to my YouTube, if it pays more, yeah, I would. Not interested. I'm certainly not doing it for money. I'm fine. I'm fine just being live on YouTube. Been live since '07. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is our second or third day. We got 8 people in here. We had 10 people in here concurrent yesterday. But like I said, we've been up to like 300 on TikTok. So I'm not concerned about like audience growth or money making potential. Not even on my radar. Nope. I'm not thinking about other platforms. No, I'm thinking about the downfall of democracy pretty consistently, actually. But yeah, somebody said, so understand that I operate in the real world. Like facts matter to me. And so, factually speaking, in a video that you can go find before the election, yeah. No, I'm not on Truth Social, so I don't necessarily see was. Yeah, he's basically by TikTok. Be surprised. He doesn't have the money. He's not as liquid as you'd think. That's why he was trying to get that $50 million payout, and a judge banned it. What was I gonna say? Oh, so Jamie Raskin said in September, probably around the same time that Joe Biden renewed Executive Order 13848, that if the American people won't do it, we're just gonna have to do it on January 6th. And I've known that for about a week. So for about a week, it's been like, well, Jamie Raskin did say that he's not eligible to be president, and that there aren't rules about running or being the president elect in the 14th Amendment. I looked that up myself. So he hasn't technically broken the law yet. So if anyone wants to know, like, why has Donald Trump been able to do what he's been able to do up to this point? Well, technically he hasn't broken any fucking law yet. Um, but yeah, he can't be president because of that. That's why he's not signing the emoluments clause. That's why he's appointing his buddies, and his cabinet looks like Fox News. He's not taking it seriously. He's not signing paperwork. He's not doing transition paperwork. I mean, people got to realize part of the transition paperwork gives him money. So do you understand how dumb you have to be and how not ready for the job you have to be to not sign paperwork that gives you money to help you transition? So they have no intentions of doing so. And it's ultimately because Donald Trump signed Executive 13848, which what it did was it took election charges that probably would have had a hard time charging him because of the Supreme Court, and it gives them to the DOJ instead. So Donald Trump's gonna get got on his own fucking rules. Uh, and Joe Biden just re fucking signed that shit because it was a good rule. But yeah, it took all those election charges that the SCOTUS was probably gonna be like, nah, and now it just gives them to the DOJ. So yeah, we're living over here in reality and just counting down the days. People keep making up days and shit, and I'm like, I wouldn't expect anything before really like December 21st, if I'm being serious. Do you have a sense for how other members of the military feel? I couldn't even imagine. Couldn't even imagine. You know, I'm too loud and opinionated. You know what I mean? Uh, the military is just like the rest of the world, so it's like a little slice of America where you get people from all over that believe all kinds of shit that are varying levels of smart and stupid, and all manage to work together with actual very little actual trouble ever. Um, I got two cousins on active duty in the Marine Corps, infantry. So obviously, one of the things that I was thinking about while I was on active duty was, God, I hope I never have to do this for real, right? Um, Getting on and off ships, getting on and off airplanes, on and off helicopters, driving around in Humvees, shooting stuff. Uh, you hope like hell you never got to do it for real. But understand, like it's certainly there's certainly not a lack of confidence. I can promise you they're not going to obey an unlawful order. Okay, I can promise you the U.S. military is spending a lot of time right now talking about you don't have to obey an unlawful order. Understand that deportation is a crime against humanity. Okay, so that whole thing about declaring martial law, use the U.S. military to round up and deport, yeah, it's an unlawful order. You don't have to do that. So the people that do, they're bending the knee. They're obeying in advance. So, of course, my hope is that they've spent a lot of time in the military talking about, when you sign up for the U.S. military, you sign up to protect your country against all threats, foreign and domestic, right? And this means like we don't take money from Russia. That's our enemy. Vladimir Putin put uh, bounties on U.S. soldiers. So if anyone ever asks, hey, how come we're not just allies with Russia? Russia would give you money if you take down a U.S. soldier. So that makes them our enemy, or pretty much like forever. Um, so yeah, I obviously can't speak for anyone that's in the military on active duty. See, you're basically in a perpetual war, or perpetual war state. Just because there's not an active combat zone that we're currently in, it doesn't mean you're not perpetually preparing. I know that's some alliteration. It wasn't intentional. Yeah, nice little eight people here for the morning show. That's good. That's good. About 40 minutes in. Just make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you share this live. Also, I've posted the announcement on Blue Sky. If you would like and share that, that would be fantastic. And like I said, eight deep, couple days in, not bad at all. We'll continue to grow. Why do you think the report won't be released? Because it gets turned in by the 20th publicly. Yeah, so you got to think about what happens if the information that all those agencies come up with is national and international security risks, right? Remember that the report is due to the heads, the secretaries, and the director of the Department of National Intelligence, which is her name is Avril. She will receive all of those reports on December 20th. So I'm guessing she's not going to be able to receive all those reports from all those agencies, compile all of that information, and break it down into something she can report to us. It's going to take a day or two to figure out how they want to package it and how they want to roll it out, right? So I've said it, Christmas surprise would be fantastic. Can you imagine? Yo, you want to hear a crazy statistic that contributes to the theory that Donald Trump stole this election? You know how they always say trust, man, they always say trust exit polling. How about, are you ready? A new CNN poll shows independents disapproved of Donald Trump 64-36 in this election. So you remember, man, that's crazy. Because that exit polls don't match up. You know, one of the things I try to explain is that Donald Trump, um, I mean, 64-36, the independents broke harder than partisan. You don't think she already knows? Oh, you're talking about Avril? So here's the thing. They've been monitoring Donald Trump for 37 years because I believe it was his first wife was a Russian national. Okay. So those agencies have been monitoring him. Now, I would argue that if those agencies have been on him for 37 years, I think they're 20 steps ahead of it. Yes. What Marlena is saying is how I feel. I think that what they're doing is de-escalating. You know, one of the things that I learned after this election is that there's over 1,400 known paramilitary groups in the United States. And if you ever had a question, why are the Democrats being so quiet about this election? And you know that red wave happened on election night. Republicans popped their champagne, had their little victory party. We have a mandate. We won the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And then, hey, you know, a lot of those people just had to go back to work. And a lot of those people haven't even probably thought about this election since. And I've just been sitting on the internet saying, you know, they didn't say it was over. That was where this kind of started. You know, they conceded way too fast on election night. Startlingly fast. They were like, "What? They're just going to give it to them?" And then they came out and conceded, bang bang, and it was just like, you know what they didn't say? We lost this election. Donald Trump's going to be your next president, and he's going to be inaugurated on 2020. And I've said this whole time until Joe Biden or Kamala Harris says, we lost this election, Donald Trump will be your next president, and he will be inaugurated on January 20th. Until either of those people say those things, I'm going to continue to listen to what they say and try to glean a message from it outside of the direct message, because it's clear to me that their direct messaging is coded. Here's why I think that. Okay? They basically stopped communicating after the election. Mm-hmm. And when they came back from Hawaii and had that little live where Tim Walz and Kamala Harris both spoke, they also stopped asking for money. I had a bunch of people tell me like after that, so they didn't need it. It was never about money. She had plenty of money. 1,600 lawyers. And also 250 countries. Minus Kamala's emails. Yeah. Minus Kamala's emails. Yes. Kamala's emails have been coming out. And they've had a bold number in some of them and a theme of dropping these breadcrumbs. And when I say dropping them, they're fairly obvious. Like 236, for example. That was the one that I was able to go to Libby, which is an app on my phone, find the book that she wrote, go to page 236, chapter 18 of that book, elections. And so that was an email she sent. I'm not dabbling in a lack of reality. I'm just telling you I saw that number in an email from Kamala, 236. I went and looked up Kamala Harris on Libby. Did she write a book? The Things We Hold. And I went to that book, to that page, and started reading about elections. And it was like, oh, she knew. So I know Kamala Harris knows what's going on. Yep. Good morning, Blair. Good morning. Many people's in here now. 6 in here. We're going to be live here for our morning show. We've been live for about 45 minutes. Remember, touch grass, drink water. Make sure that you follow subscribe to my YouTube channel. You got the email too. But yeah, the 236. And then there was another one, 943, which I didn't see that one, but I'd seen other people who were getting it, and it took them somewhere else. And then I'd seen 4 charges. Somebody sent me Miranda rights. You are under arrest. Everything can say will be used against a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you do not have one, will be appointed for you. Whatever. Those are the 4 sentences, 4 charges. Sadly, didn't get any emails with numbers. Yeah. So they were picking and choosing. And again, what's funny is that what we were kind of using intuition for. Blair got an email with 292. Did that ever come to head? So what I pulled was I looked at the transcript of her speech she gave, the one when they came back from Hawaii. And in her speech she said November 5th twice. And what I took that as was 115. And then I looked up US Code 115. And US Code 115 allows the state to charge you with treason and threatening an elected official. And I think Elon Musk, didn't he threaten to have Kamala Harris unalived? Crickets. So the 11-5 twice in a speech, 115, 2 separate charges of US Code 115. And then there was 107, and the 107 was her campaign was 107 days long. And I'm willing to acknowledge that can be what's called a dead number, meaning there's no code for that. It just means 107. But I did find the 107th Congress was a 2-year period where Congress met. Uh, what didn't we know? What didn't we know? I know I'm blowing your mind. That's kind of why I'm here. What's going on? What didn't you know? Yeah, she said you have the same power that you did before November 5th, and I think she kind of alluded to it twice. And I'm a data analyst, so I'll also read your transcript and say, yeah, yeah, U.S. Code 115. You're welcome. Yeah, threatening an official. Yeah, it's U.S. Code 115. Treason, and smoking the reefer. No, it's treason and threatening an elected official. Mhm. I know, right? And I was just and I even sat on that for a day. It's pretty awesome, actually. People were like, "Oh, wait, that's real?" Yeah, but yeah, exit polling showed that independents broke harder than the parties did away from Donald Trump, 64-36. That tells you something. It tells you that there was cheating, right? No, no, no. He has a citizenship now. He was an illegal alien. He became a U.S. citizen in 2002. I need that T-shirt. If any of you wants to buy me anything. Oh, if you ever think, oh, huh, that's weird. The DOJ criminal division arrested a TD Bank insider. Arrested and charged with facilitating money laundering. Hmm. Yeah, he could be charged and deported. And you saw, so apparently there was another Easter egg in an email. The outcome of the election may not be what we fought for or hoped for, but in the words of Vice President Harris, sometimes the fight takes a while, but that doesn't mean we won't win, and that is bolded. Hmm. Here. Interesting. So again, we're talking about, is this real? Oh, by the way, Anonymous shared this. This is a video of Donald Trump at the Notre Dame, and the rumor is that he shit himself, and that all those people behind him are reacting to it. Don't you know? Somebody's saying Mike Johnson's committing treason by um, promoting a non governmental organization to oversee, overthrow, and dismantle the United States constitutional rights and freedom through the DOGE department, the DOGE. Um, I'm going to keep sharing links, you know. So obviously, 9 people in here. Glad to have you. Somebody said something about Hawaii. Yeah, Musk in her speech. Just throwing this out there. Joe Manchin and Christian Cinema might be in on the fix as well. Yeah. Yeah. So you got to look at outside the presidency and look at all the other elections. There were 7 battleground states. Okay, states where there were races that were important, right? Now you have Arizona, and I'm gonna kind of steal Hakeem Jeffries' bit. Okay, you got Arizona where Donald Trump won somewhat convincingly. I think it was like his largest margin of victory. Correct me when I'm wrong. But Carrie Lake, the Republican that was running underneath Donald Trump, she lost by 6 figures. And Ruben Gallego won in Arizona, right? And then, like I said, $100 million in dark money to unseat Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, right? So that leaves 5 swing states, and outside of the general election, Democrats swept 5 of the 7 swing states outside the presidency. And then when you really look at it, what elections they did win, the Republicans, because in the House they lost seats in the Senate, and it was all the MAGA that won their seats. And I think that they're all guilty of taking Russian aid in this election, and they'll have to give up all those seats too. So what will end up happening is right now, and I don't know who in the House took Russian money, but I'm assuming it's all coming out, all of it. It all has to. We are owed it actually. And I think when you think about how this election went before you consider that Donald Trump cheated, you see Donald Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself. He didn't help any of those down ballot races in 5 of 7 swing states where Democrats swept. He didn't give a shit about that. And keep in mind, this means, and I'm saying it with my full chest, he not only didn't give a fuck, but the GOP didn't give a fuck neither, and they lost all them races. Yep. And remember that their whole plan was to muddy the result of the election. You can't win convincingly. If you win convincingly, it puts a target on your back. So you got to make it close. And it was fucking close before you consider that he cheated. And like I said, I think Donald Trump is way less popular than he thinks he is. And I think it's a matter of time. And it's going to come out. I thought it wasn't going to be till January 6th, and I felt like the really dangerous time in this country was between January 6th and January 20th. Between the the certification in the inauguration. Now I think any time after December 21st would be a great day to for all those agencies that Donald Trump has been threatening for years, by the way, right? Like Donald Trump has a deep hatred for FBI, CIA, NSA, DSIC. Like he wants to get rid of all these agencies, all of them. And there's even more than I said, and they've all been keeping track of him. And their reports are all going to those secretaries. And here's the thing: regardless of how any one of them secretaries feel or how the director of national intelligence feels, somebody is leaking that information to the public. That's how they feel about Donald Trump. Somebody was asking me earlier how I felt active duty feels. Probably a little less educated than how the federal government employees feel, knowing that they're all about to be contracted employees and have to have purity tests and shit like that to determine their loyalty and shit. Like, people don't understand the and I'd kind of jokingly said this on TikTok, but those federal government employees are the only group of people on earth that I know of that only work out like a 40-hour week, are in the gym and in the gym and weight room, are also going to the range and shooting their pew pews, right? And you're gonna take their job away? That's a terrible fucking decision, because the Second Amendment is the only one that works. All the other amendments, like, people stomp on the First Amendment all the like. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm lying. The First Amendment gets shattered all the time. People are stopping other people's free speech all the time. People are abusing other people's right to freely assemble all the time. Donald Trump tear gassed protesters to get a photo op in front of a church. He'll use state violence to get what he wants. He's talked about activating the military to deport American citizens. So when you ask me, do I think that this election is the death of the Republican Party? They're going to have to rebuild, because a whole bunch of people are going to go to pre-zone. And here's why, May. Here's why. And again, if I had known this the whole time, I'd have just been saying it the whole time. It's because Donald Trump signed Executive Order 13848. And it put all the investigation in those departments' hand, and it made all those election crimes tried through the Department of Justice. And that goes for everyone that they find information on that they took money from Russia. And so that means all those people that took money from Tenet Media, Tenet, Tenet Media, that's a Russian controlled media outlet. So think about if you ran for politics or spoke in politics and you took money from Tenet. Those feds are about to investigate that and produce that publicly. So you're about to find the payroll of who all was getting money. And you're about to find out. There's no way in a million years Donald Trump becomes president. There's too many roadblocks in the way. Too many things that he needs to accomplish that he can no way get done. And he has no intentions of doing that either. And think about, it's not like his cabinet appointees are just passing background checks with flying colors and the FBI's complicit. No. No. By the way, I'd never advocate for the schmurder of another person, but if there was one that isn't Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vladimir Putin, Benjamin Netanyahu, Viktor Orban, this guy, DeJoy, the postmaster, yeah. United Healthcare kept $20 billion of their subscribers' money in 2022 while denying their healthcare claims. Oh, Jared and Ivanka were indicted in SDNY today. Alexander Real Estate Brothers. That's Jared and Ivanka's realtors. They graped a bunch. Yes. Have you ever watched the first season of True Detective with Matthew McConaughey? What? What was the big what, babe? What's wrong? What was the all caps what for? What happened? Yeah, okay. So I think that one of the things that we've got to understand is like when we say hate groups and paramilitary groups, we're talking about groups just like the KKK and the Proud Boys. It's just that there are like 1,500 of those. Um, the good news is mostly they're not anywhere near big cities because they're grossly outnumbered. Know that their resources are constrained. I think they're either charged in connection or just their realtors are being charged. But it's like everyone in their orbit is a sex pest. Mm. I want to make sure I tell my chat because I have a little birdie that talks to me. A little birdie told me that the big three, it's not just Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The big three are Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and David Sacks, Sacks, the former COO of PayPal. That is big friends with Elon. These are the three ringleaders of this MAGA, dark MAGA, you could call them. And then underneath those three people, it's Charlie Kirk, Chuck Grassley. He's in charge of EAC.gov. And then there's the lawyer Von Trovsky or something like that. And then there's Tyler Bowyer under that. And I asked my little birdie about Jack Pacibic to see if he was involved. David Sachs. Yeah, he got. I think he got nominated for Commerce. Um. So yeah, little birdie came and told me that. I think that's so fucking cool. When you get into like podcasting or being live or whatever, people are gonna send you stuff and say, "Hey, I work in the government. I can't tell you who I am, but here." Uh, excuse me. So remember that there was a graphic that came out right after the election night, and it showed that the entire country shifted right, every state. And I also want to point out that every election, there are going to be counties that flip. Either way, Democrat to Republican, Republican to Democrat. And I just want to point out in this election, another piece of data outside of the map that showed that the entire country shifted right. That's alarming. I don't believe that at all. And the data actually doesn't back that up. Here's why. So, first of all, the Republican Party had 13 million more registered. No, I'm sorry. Let's back up. The Democratic Party had 13 million more registered party members going into this election than Republicans did nationwide. You can look up my numbers. And I'm doing this all from memory. I'm not. I can look directly into the camera and say it. The Democratic Party had 45 million members going into this election, and the Republicans only had 32 million. 13 million people. 13 million more people were registered to vote Democrat in this election than Republican. Now that you know that, now that you know, they had 13 million more people. Yeah. And also, we just talked about earlier about how a CNN exit poll had independents breaking against Donald Trump 64-36. So you mean to tell me now that you know data, you know some data now, right? 90% of Donald Trump and Elon Musk's following is fucking fake. The entire country shifted right, despite the fact that the Democratic Party had 12 more million registered voters since January 6, 2021, meaning since January 6, 2021, 12 million more people registered to vote Democrat than Republican. For the record, the Republican Party keeps losing members. And if you think that what just happened on November 5th didn't cause people to leave that party en masse, and en masse is anything over a couple percentage points. I could easily, comfortably say 3% of their membership dropped off because they were like, "This is a load of horse shit." Okay, so not only, remember, I keep going back over shit. 90% of their shit's fake. The entire country shifted right. There were 88 counties. 88 is one of those dangerous numbers. It's like the calling card for a white supremacist hacker, aka Elon. 88 counties flipped from blue to red. Not a single county in this election flipped from red to blue. Do you know what the probability of that happening is? Fucking zero. That has never happened before in a U.S. presidential election. Not even the election, was it Nixon? Won 49 of 50 states? Yeah, there were a lot of counties that flipped from red to blue in that election, actually. And so the fact that that's never even fucking happened before, where the entire country shifted right, 88 counties in the U.S. went from left to right since January 6, 2021. Not a single fucking county in the United States flipped red to blue. And keep this in mind, people are losing their shit. People are losing their minds. They're losing sleep at night. They're not able to work effectively. This election's tore this fucking country up. And 90% of those people don't even know what we just talked about. They don't even, and I'm talking about facts. I'm not talking about bullshit, May. I'm talking about facts. I can go pull up each one of those statistics, drop it in there. You can fucking verify that shit yourself. You want to write down anything I say and verify it, correct me when I'm wrong, but trust. This is what is on my head and heart, like all day, every day. 90% of their following is fucking fake. The entire fucking country shifted right in this election. 88 counties in this election in the United States switched from blue to red. 88, that's that fucked up white supremacist number. Remember 1488? Okay? And not a single fucking county flipped from red to blue in this country. You're fucking crazy. Do you know what the odds are of winning the presidency in all 7 swing states? 1 in 35 billion. So there is a chance that in an election which is random, you don't actually know the outcome, so the outcome's random. The odds of rolling 7 dice and all of them lining up and giving you all 7 swing states and the presidency, 1 in 35 billion. 1 in 35 billion. So the odds are not fucking good So do you understand the odds to win the lottery are typically, and I'm talking about like scratch off lottery tickets, okay? Those actually hit one every quarter million, one every 300,000. The more expensive lottery tickets, so the more you buy in, the longer the odds, the higher the payout. So think about like a $20 scratch off having like a 1 in 2 million, 1 in 3 million chance to hit. Now, it might hit more frequently, but what I'm talking about is like actually hitting, giving you your money back and then some. Okay? So I understand that I'm a data analyst. I am in my last year of school at Purdue. So I'm not here to fluff you. I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm here to tell you the fucking facts based on the data. Okay? The data says it sticks out like a sore fucking thumb. Consider this. So the 88 counties and shit along that lines too. Consider that in almost every swing state, Donald Trump won the presidency, the presidential election in that state, and the Democrat won the seat under them in 6 of those fucking states. So again, it sticks out like a sore fucking thumb. Think about what I just said. In all 7 swing states, Donald Trump won that presidential election. And in 6 of 7, the Democrat won the seat under him. What are the odds that more people voted for the Republican presidential candidate despite the Democrat underticket winning? And again, I said the Democrats also swept 5 of 7 states outside the presidency, the swing states. So really, Donald Trump winning sticks out like a sore thumb. And his little MAGA co-conspirators, that all sticks out like a sore thumb. Because that's basically the only people that won. Because they didn't care about any of the other elections. And here's what I'm saying, babies. It's like they cheated in every state, but they really cheated in the swing states. Specifically the presidential election and Donald Trump's little cronies. And honestly, don't know. Doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense? What doesn't make sense? Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Benjamin Netanyahu, Vladimir Putin, Viktor Orban are all tied together. Think about all the horrible shit they've done combined. And it all makes sense. Donald Trump's not going to go after those people. He's going to harbor people like Putin and Orban. Orban's been to Mar-a-Lago, right? I'm guessing Putin's been to Mar-a-Lago, and so obviously Elon Musk won't leave Mar-a-Lago. But yeah, it makes all kinds of sense. They're running to keep each other out of prison, because otherwise there are consequences. And understand, one of the things that's crazy about this whole situation, okay? Typically in an election, there are going to be people that, they didn't manage their time effectively. And they got in line to vote, got in the booth to vote for someone, and they don't have time to fill out the whole fucking thing. So they just hit voting for president, submit, print my shit out, I got to go back to work. It happens. Okay, it happens nationally 0.01 to 0.03% of all ballots. So that's 2 more zeros, babies. Okay? So when you're trying to think about, yeah, everything I'm saying, everything out of my mouth is based on a material fact. So, fuck, what was I talking about? Oh, okay. So in a typical election, the percentage of ballots that we were calling bullet ballots, but that's not a great term. We would call them like single candidate ballots, SCBs, or only Trump ballots, or only Kamala ballots. Okay? They actually need descriptions, or only independent ballots, where you only voted for the independent presidential candidate and vote for anyone else. Okay? So understand, and there are receipts. All of this is based on data that you can go find that's publicly available so far, Logan. All the data I'm spitting out is publicly available. Uh-huh. So any of them terms I'm spitting out, you can just Google that. Yep. Easy peasy. Mhm. So, in a typical election, only 0.01% to 0.03% of all ballots cast nationwide in the United States are those bullet ballots, single candidate ballots, where they only voted for the president and no one else. Okay? 0.01 to 0.03% of the time. In all 7 swing states, Donald Trump got on average between 3% and 7% of those bullet ballots. There are also about 3 million ballots that have not been counted that are effectively in legislation. Right now, and something to keep in mind, Mark Elias is Kamala Harris's top lawyer, and he revealed recently that he had like 53 lawsuits filed in over 20 states, including all the swing states. Okay. I heard after that was a low number by 100 cases, and that he actually has like 160 cases in all 50 states. So, yeah. But again, here's the thing. May, it doesn't matter if he cheated. Doesn't matter if you interfere. Doesn't matter who wins and loses. If you took outside money and committed fucking treason, it doesn't matter if you won or lost. That job's not yours. Which is just true. So not only is he not eligible for the job, he cheated. And election fraud? Oh, yeah. So there's prosecuting election fraud. I'm going to post this in here. So this is a single link that will take you to Executive Order 13848 on that Reddit post, and also the DOJ's federal prosecution of election crimes. It's a document. It's actually got like a table of contents and all that shit. So what I look at is election fraud. Yeah. Campaign finance crimes are all listed in there. Election crimes. Campaign finance violations. But yeah, election fraud. Corruption of one of 3 processes is obtaining and marking of ballots, counting and certification of election results, registration of voters. Okay? So understand, Elon Musk put out a PAC that was taking people's information and promised to register them as voters. Right? It's election fraud. All right. And then conditionally met close factional competition within electoral jurisdiction for an elected position that matters. This is a super close election. Yeah? And so yeah. Fraud, and then it talks about prosecution, not intervention. So people always have asked, how come they didn't intervene? This document that I'm looking at, the Federal Prosecution of Election Crimes, it literally says we're not to intervene, we're to prosecute. So that means you got to do the crime to get prosecuted for it. So the election's got to get certified. The investigation's got to get turned in. then they'll file. Yeah, it's like due process. Investigative considerations, evaluating. So here's the link to what I am reading right now. This is governmentjustice.gov. Okay, so that's a good link. Okay, and it talks about the federal prosecution of election crimes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, and they annulled their election. Understand that there were 80 bomb threats called into majority black polling places, all from Russia, on election day, and that was verified. That's enough to annul an election. And I've been saying this whole time, hey, there's a chance we could re-vote. Just so everyone that listens to me knows, 80 bomb threats called into a majority black polling place means that you could annul that election and re-vote. But here's the problem. Turning Point USA has like 400,000 people working at these polling places as vote counters and bean counters and shit like that. That was like their whole plan. So, see you, Janine. Have a great day. So, yeah, I think things are humming right along. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you know what's going to be great because Kamala Harris is a prosecutor, right? Like her vocation is being a prosecutor, and you know what she's going to do? She's going to put together this data visualization of what Donald Trump and his fucking cronies did, how they cheated in this election, and they're going to present it to the public, and they're going to say, you know, for the last fucking 2 months, Donald Trump and all his fucking cronies have been terrorizing us, telling us all this horrible shit that they're going to do. Donnie, you cheated in this fucking election. Here's how. Donnie, you're fired. You will not be the president. You cheated in this fucking election. And now, because of Executive Order 13848, all those election related crimes are tried through the DOJ, which means they're federal crimes. The SCOTUS cannot intervene, and it generally takes a lot. You are in court faster because the evidence is damning and your punishment is rendered faster, is what I've gathered from the DOJ. So again, I've been saying this whole time, and you know, people keep coming to me about time frames. Time frames. Okay? Understand that if it's an act of war, election fraud, if the fraud that you committed is tied to a country that's at war, Russia, it's a war crime. Hague ICC charges. There, you know, Jack Smith double dismissed his cases against Donald Trump, and I have a friend of mine that is a lawyer by training, but not by trade. He works in finance. Guess why? Why would you? Why would you double dismiss something? And that is called clearing the jurisdictional runway. Yep. They just want to make sure there wasn't anything in international criminal court's way. And like I said, I think that enough has happened daily since the election that even if I didn't know Executive 13848 existed, I would still say there's no fucking way after you've been investigating this dude for 37 years because his first wife was a Russian national that you don't have enough on him to prevent him from becoming president? Oh hell yeah you do. Oh hell yeah you do. You've got the and I've been saying ignorantly by the way, I've been saying the Department of Justice always gets its fucking man. Well, guess what? Not only do they always get their man, but I didn't actually know that that executive order made it so. You know, make it happen. Like I didn't actually know that executive order gave those cases to the DOJ and that I was right. And all these election crimes are now tried through the DOJ, which is a federal court. SCOTUS cannot intervene. Court happens faster. Punishment happens faster. Oh, snap. So it's like I was right, and also here's how. Quick question. Yeah, and then we're going to get out of here because we've been here for about an hour and a half. I'm going to switch to water. So I'm drinking my morning coffee. I'm going to switch to water. I'm going to let the dogs out, that kind of shit. So for the record, this is what a left podcast should sound like. We should stay in reality. We should try to talk about things that we can prove with facts. We should be giving people hope because there's hope. There's a clear executive order that requires it. Stuff. Quick question. Stuff going on in Texas and North Carolina. Yeah, it's fucky. May, that's what I was talking about with the exit polling in Texas showed that independents broke 64-36 against Donald Trump. And that flies in the face of and that's in Texas. That's in Texas. That's a CNN poll. I put it in the chat. Remember what they said coming out of the election. You got to pay attention to the exit polls. Well, remember Donald Trump bought those polls. Well, now he's run out of money, and now the real polls are starting to come out. And the exit poll from Texas on election day showed independents broke 64-36 away from Donald Trump. The stuff going on in Texas, North Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina did great. Very Democratic state. And the outgoing Republican administration is trying to pass a law that effectively neuters Josh Stein before he ever gets into office. They're going to get rolled back. And you got to remember the election's not final. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, they all got to get sworn in and shit. And like I said, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You can be sued for the legislation that you pass. Laws can get repealed for targeting. You know, your legislation's not supposed to target. The fact that a piece of legislation effectively names Josh Stein, it's a political hit piece. You're very welcome. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. So again, this has been Justice's Waiting Room. We now have 11 people in here. We only had 10 yesterday, so we're doing great. To see Mike Miller's appearance in Fox News, absolutely frightening. You're talking about, oh fuck, the white supremacist? Stephen Miller. Yeah, he's a horrible white supremacist. Needs to keep you informed. Hey, not a problem. Thanks for being here. So yeah, we will be live soon. So right now, it's 10 a.m. Okay? We've been sorry, I got an email. I had to answer some questions. So yeah, keep in mind we'll be live after 10:30 today a.m. both on TikTok and here on YouTube. And again, make sure that you follow me on Blue Sky for announcements when I go live. You can follow me on TikTok and you can follow me on YouTube. Those are the only social media sites I use. I don't post on Facebook or IG or Threads. I don't. I blacked out my pictures on Facebook. Like I'm not happy with Zuck going to Mar-a-Lago. You feel me? So YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok. Okay. Daily, 1.5 hour windows, urging people to drink water, touch grass, and relax, baby. We got it. Democracy is intact. I can promise you that when you see something and it looks like there's no hope, that's bait. So when you saw Adam Ray fucking stepping down, bait. When you saw Joe Biden pardoning his son, bait. When you see him threatening to pardon people, bait. When you see him floating pardoning the January 6th committee, bait. And why do we know it's bait? Why do we know it's bait? Because for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? We know that going in. Newton told us. So Joe Biden pardons his son, and what happened within 24 hours? Within 24 hours, Marjorie Taylor Greene got onto Twitter and said, if we're just going to be willy nilly pardoning people, I want a pardon. Thought about Twitch? Nobody watches on Twitch. And it's hard to do Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And I have 500 subscribers on YouTube, which monetized my YouTube. And I'm far away from monetization on Twitch. And so I can be live on Twitch, live on TikTok on my phone, and live on YouTube. And I don't need Twitch. It's not going to do anything for me. Mm-mm. I've definitely got I'm likely alien on Twitch. I've streamed live on Twitch, but again, the reality of that situation is, I'll just use YouTube and TikTok. Hmm. Yep. You're getting into the territory of doing too much. Um, Putting a target on your back. Putting a target on your back by just creating the content anyway, creating the shit anyway. Okay. So 12 people in here. Love y'all. Drink water. Touch grass, and we will speak soon. Have a good